we want to talk a little bit about education, okay? And we kind of broke this down into 4 subcategories, right? There's the traditional education, which consists of like you going to university, maybe going and doing extensive specialty courses, 6-month training things like NPTI, right? If you have the time and the money, that's great because you can get a wealth of knowledge in a longer span of time, which is good for you because it allows you to absorb that information. One of the things that you have to understand about yourself is how do you learn? If you understand and you prefer learning in an environment where it's an instructor and student relationship and you're able to bounce ideas off of peers and you've got the time, then this is one of the best ways to go out and get that formal education. But if you already have a job, you've got already some level of certification, maybe you don't have the finances to invest in it and you're anxious and ready to get going right now, this may not be the best option for you. And over the years, I've always found that the traditional education does a fantastic job of providing coaches with a base level of knowledge, but you really get the education when you get out and you start applying it. And that's where the rubber actually meets the road for a lot of coaches. And if they don't have that actual experience working with clients all of the time, that's where the greatest gap is. So the next thing that we want to talk about are certifications, right? And there are, essentially 4 main certifying bodies, companies that you've probably heard and you probably have certifications in, things like NASM or NSCA, ACSM or ACE. These are traditionally the most popular. And what you got to recognize about each of them is that although they're trying to teach you the same base level of information, they're all coming at it from different ways, trying to push their own agenda to get you into their system that will keep you connected to them for a long period of time, re-upping on certs and going to workshops and doing that sort of thing. And it's great to have those certifications because in a lot of circumstances they're required as a minimum in order for you to get hired, which I fully agree with. But I also think that just getting those certifications, that's scratching the surface. And you really need to dive into some other areas. And some things that we want to talk about are, weekend workshops and summits. Things like the IDEA. Elite FTS does a fantastic job getting coaches together, bringing speakers in, doing 1-day and 2-day seminars. It's become really popular in the last 5 to 10 years for really knowledgeable individuals to put together courses that they specialize in, and then they travel around the country to different facilities teaching hands-on this information. Somebody that I think of instantly is like Dr. Richard Ulm from CSCC. He does a fantastic job traveling around the country and even around the world educating people on his methodology and the concepts of DNS. So I think those are really fantastic ways for you to get a deeper dive into specific information. And then the last thing, which I think really takes your education level to another plateau, is doing apprenticeships and doing internships. And I think this is probably one of the most underappreciated and underestimated ways to get education because sometimes it can be expensive, but the value and information that you're going to gain from this, you're going to be able to extrapolate out over years and decades of your career and help potentially hundreds, if not sometimes thousands of people, depending on the mode or the methods with which you decide to administer your craft. So really thinking about that, how can you put yourself in a position to work with and learn directly from really intelligent people who may not be in your local area, but because of technology now, you can connect with them through Zoom or Skype or Meetup or any of those other things and spend time in these groups from all around the country, gaining valuable knowledge, asking questions, and moving from there. So those are our 4 main types of education. And what I would say for you is, understanding the type of impact that you want to have, where you are in your career, is probably going to dictate a lot of what you're doing. If you're starting out early, maybe you're going the traditional education and you're starting with certifications. And then as you're moving your way along, you're really trying to figure out, what specialty or what area do you want to go into, what interests you, who are the people that you're around, the populations that you'll serve, and then that will help you dictate your weekend workshops or your apprenticeships and internships. So really start thinking about that.